What's up guys, Coach Kane here, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the various tools and techniques that James Lights Out Toney used to dismantle Iran the Blade Barkley. Beginning with the very first exchange of the fight, Toney used a technique that I call matching intensities, to avoid allowing Barkley to just bulldoze right over him. He immediately picked up his level of arousal, which is notoriously relaxed, to match that of Barkley, allowing him to gain respect early on by landing a solid left hook as Barkley reached for a shovel hook to the body, something we'll take a closer look at shortly. But to finish the exchange, Toney established his ability to take angles and work the body himself, setting the stage for much of what was to come, and proving that he could handle Barkley not only with slick skills, but with hand speed and punching power too. After pressing Toney to the ropes, Barkley was met with the first of many infighting techniques Toney would use to ultimately defeat him, which was his ability to throw short uppercuts and hooks. The uppercut being the perfect tool to lift Barkley's head up out of Toney's chest, where he could then land the lead hook with ease. James also threw short and sharp rear hooks from this same position. He found his exit by using the shovel hook to the liver to turn Iran to the ropes as he circled out to his left. James employed the same short uppercut hook combo from the ropes in center ring as well, this time combining the aspect of turning Barkley with the hook to exit and get back to range, re-entering by stepping across with the overhand right to double up and attack the body. Toney eventually began using a textbook outside slip and counter rear uppercut to deal with Barkley's jab. Being so intent on coming forward on the front foot, slipping outside of Iran's jab this way caused him to fall into the perfect range for the counter uppercut. Like I mentioned before, let's look at Toney's counter hook for Barkley's shovel hook to the body. And I want to make note of the way that Barkley drops his rear hand as he loads up his punch, creating the perfect opening for James to counter. Notice too the way that the opposing force from Toney's hook completely saps the power out of Barkley's shot. Toney then began utilizing two more defenses for Barkley's jab: the rear hand parry, after which he would return jabs of his own, and the infamous pull and counter right hand. Here we can see again just how effective that parry and return jab is from another angle. Toney shows off his hand speed with a 4-3-2 combination and sticks the jab to prevent Barkley from chasing. Another great infighting technique Toney used was one I call unimpeded counterpunching. Notice how he chooses to counter Barkley's shovel hook to the body with a rear uppercut, knowing that Barkley's hand is occupied on that side by virtue of him punching. Because of this, Toney knows it would be difficult for Barkley to get it back in time to block, meaning there's nothing impeding his counter on that side, making it a high percentage punch selection. Toney would also use an unimpeded overhand right at slightly longer ranges. In this exchange, Barkley does a decent job of finding Toney with the jab before landing an overhand right. Toney uses his counter hook for Barkley's shovel hook and senses an overhand coming again before rolling underneath it and returning to position. Toney then dips to his right, causing Barkley to search for him there with the overhand again, and by simply standing up, Toney essentially pulls Barkley's shot and counters with a right of his own. And after rolling back over to his right, he flurries with a nice 4-3-2 combination. After breaking from the clinch, Barkley enters with a jab, which Toney simultaneously sidesteps and parries with the rear hand. And after slipping outside of Barkley's jab, lands a devastating overhand right. Toney rolls back across to his right again, and uses another unimpeded uppercut paired with a hook to turn Barkley to the ropes, but this time steps his lead foot back into a southpaw position, from which he throws a rear uppercut before hopping to shift back into orthodox to throw another rear upper, a rear hook to the head, and finishes with a shovel hook to the body. Toney knows that after landing a good jab on someone, oftentimes their first instinct will be to try to get you back with one of their own, and he took full advantage of Barkley's instinct to do that with this slip counter right hand. I've mentioned Toney's ability to turn Barkley with the lead hook, but he would also turn him with the right hand. After stunning Barkley, he'd take the opportunity to pivot around to his right. Here we see him land the overhand right, step around and shoot the uppercut from a new angle. And this time from off of the ropes, he reversed the order, first throwing the uppercut before bumping around to the new angle and shooting the right hand. One last time he pulls Barkley's hook to the body, bumps out again and lands another devastating right. He then steps off the ropes to show a textbook use of his Philly shell, by parrying Barkley's jab and shoulder rolling his cross before countering with one of his own. Toney gives us one more variation of the parry and counter formula by returning a cross over the top after defending against the jab. James Toney's ability to pair fundamental offensive and defensive techniques together into numerous complex sequences in this fight was virtually unmatched. This summation hardly has a chance of doing this performance justice, and it would likely take me 100 tries before I got even a quarter of his mastery encompassed into one video. Nevertheless, if you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you would consider subscribing, and leaving a like and comment down below. I would love to hear what I could improve on for the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.